Ephesians chapter 6 talks about the armor of God and putting on the armor of God. Talks about putting on the breastplate of righteousness and our feet shod with the gospel of peace, having the sword of the Spirit and the shield of faith. These have really practical applications too, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. 2 practical applications for spiritual warfare and the armor of God. When we come up across things in our life, things that are temptations, things that are gray areas. When you come into a gray area of life, you think is a gray area, you really want to do whatever it is, you think it's not clear in the Word of God whether you should do it or not do it. It's really easy to start justifying what we want to do. In those gray areas, we're smart enough to try to justify it. Well, I'm a Christian, I'm not going to get drawn into that. I'm not going to be part of whatever this, ungodly activity is there. I'm just going to do this. And maybe I'll even be a witness. We want to try to justify it. But 2 Timothy 2:22 says to flee youthful lusts. Now, we can have youthful lust at any age, and it's not just talking about a relationship kind of lust. Certainly that too, but there's lots of youthful lust. When we are in our youth, we make stupid decisions because we haven't had the life experience yet. And we make a lot of those decisions because we want something, and so we make the wrong decision. It could be something as simple as not getting that DVD set that we want or that CD set that we want because God had really convicted us to spend the $50 on that set to a charity somewhere or to give it to our local food bank. And we want to try to justify it because really, well, we can do that next month, but we really deserve these CDs this month. Okay, it can be something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be these big. Sin is sin, and so we want to make the sins really big. But you know what? Any sin separates us from God. So the Bible talks about the breastplate of righteousness. In 2 Timothy 2:22, it says, flee youthful lusts, but follow righteousness. So when you come into that, back out of those gray areas. Pray about it. If you're still wanting to do it, pray about it. But back out of those gray areas. Don't go forward. Flee the lust and follow righteousness. That's one way to execute the spiritual warfare and the armor. The other way is in the area of temptation, pray. Bring it to the Word of God. In Ephesians 6:18, after it talks about the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. So you're taking your temptation to the Word of God and seeing what the Word of God has to say about it. It says praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. And we're taking our shield of faith and we are believing God to protect us and to answer us, to give us an answer as we're seeking righteousness. And when we look to His Word, we need to not justify, but we have backed out of the gray area. We still want to do it. We're praying about it. God leads us to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, I think it's verse 22, and it says, abstain from all appearance of evil, or to some translations, every form of evil. And we think, well, yeah, but this isn't evil really, and we try to justify it. If God showed us that, we need to dwell on that, pray about it. Well, God, how is this evil? Show me. Open my eyes. And we need to dwell on that verse and pray on it. Dwell on His words. And then believe. And He will be faithful. Because the shield of faith says that it quenches all the fiery darts of the wicked. We can't do that on our own, but God does that for us. But the armor is not just a passive thing. We need to wield that sword and we need to take up that shield and use it. And those are 2 ways that we do it. I hope that helps. And I'll leave you with Ephesians 6, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. God bless.